Hello, I hope you're doing fabulous today. I am about to have an event here at Virtuous Fitness in Silverdale, and there's a story I like to tell people if it's their very first experience. And oh, by the way, today it's like 107. I'm in Washington State, and it's like a really big deal for it to get really warm like that. So I haven't really done a lot of movement yet, and I'm already just sweating, kind of like if you're from Tennessee, where I'm from, where we were working out in tobacco fields, you could literally just stand outside in the summer and sweat. So you could just breathe and you start sweating. So for my southern family, it's just a normal day in the summertime. But for those of us that live in the Northwest, we forget what that's like sometimes. So that's why I'm already profusely sweating. So in 2018, I had already been playing my own sound bowls because if you didn't know, when I was a young girl, I loved playing piano, I loved playing trombone, any musical instrument pretty much I could get my hands on, I would play it. So I've always been musically interested in whatever. So I think it was 2017 I started playing my own sound bowls. I thought they were really cool and I was just really drawn to them. In 2018, after I'd gotten out of the Navy, I went on a yoga retreat with my favorite teachers, and it was in Mexico, in Tulum, which is a magical place, but honestly, you can go anywhere magical, but if inside you feel like shit, it really doesn't matter where you go in the world, because there's a saying that goes, wherever you go, there you are. And I was just going through a really shitty time in my life, and I was at like a really low place. So anyways, during the Soundbath, I was dying. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit someone. I was so angry and so frustrated because, okay, Dr. Wayne Dyer is one of my favorite spiritual teachers, and he always would lecture and say this saying: if you squeeze an orange, what comes out of the orange? It's orange juice, right? So when we are put under pressure, what comes out of us is what's really inside of us. And sometimes we can have a tendency to point and say, it's their fault, or let me get my arms in, it's their fault, right? It's someone else's fault. But when we are put under pressure, like for example, it'll be a hot yoga class this evening. I didn't intend for it to be a hot yoga class, but it's going to be. And when we are put under intense pressure, whether that was the sound healing that I went to in Mexico, when you're put under pressure at your job, in your relationships, what comes out of us is what's really living inside of us. It's not the other person. When I had the horrible, rageful experience in Mexico, it wasn't the healer's, it wasn't his fault. He was doing his healing work. But what was coming outside of me was what was living inside of me, which was total anger and frustration because I had been living a life of intensity, not being authentic to myself. I was exhausted, which if you're watching this video and you're living in the world right now, 9 times out of 10, you're probably living in chronic exhaustion. So when we go through healing events or we go to start working on our health and well-being, not fitness necessarily, but health and well-being, what can really come up is frustration. And because we have been taught to be good little girls and be respectful little boys and not express our feelings. So sometimes when we're put in the cooker or put in under pressure or we're in a sound healing like I was in Mexico, it was just like this intense rage and frustration. I wanted to go take the sound bowl and hit the guy that was doing the healing. It was like I was so unhappy. So what I've learned as a teacher is I don't like to, especially if people are newer at this experience, I don't keep them in a shavasana, which is a resting place. I typically don't keep them there longer than 20, 25 minutes. Because when we're getting introduced to quote-unquote meditation, which sound bath or a sound healing session is a form of relaxation. It's a form of meditation. And most of us aren't even able to be with ourselves without turning on our phone, our computer, the television, music. So most of us aren't used to relaxing in our world. We have really gotten away from that. And sound healing is an introductory to get into a meditative state using sound as a way to relax and release stagnant energies, anxieties, and pent-up frustrations. Because, for example, we have been taught to bottle this all up, be professional, and keep it inside. And we have never been taught healthy releases of energy. And in my own experience of healing, the most therapeutic things that I have got to experience is the movement of energy through the yoga practice. Because when I used to be a hardcore athlete, I would just go to the point of injury and exhaustion. That's what I would do. I'm not saying that's what everyone else does, but I was in my early 20s. I didn't know how to effectively do things at a happy medium, so I would just go all out or I wouldn't do anything at all. And moving energy is very healthy, so whatever that way is, and then also expression of emotion. So I recently had a women's yoga retreat, and what we did was we expressed emotion. We expressed rage and anger in a facilitated way. So when we were doing some yoga practice, inversions, going upside down and practicing challenging things, I encouraged the women to yell obscenities and to cuss and to scream and to get that rage and all of those feelings out of their energy system out. And it was very therapeutic. Another thing that we did to move energy in a healthy therapeutic way was we got really hot in the hot tub one day, and then we ran out to the ocean in like what I'm wearing right now, just like in a sports bra or a bathing suit. We ran out into the Pacific Ocean, which is very cold. And yes, and we got into the ocean and screamed and yelled and really released this intense energy that just lives and it's stuck inside of us sometimes, and we don't know how to release it. So what happens sometimes, like me and my Soundbath experience, where you want to slap someone or you want to scream when it's an inappropriate time, what moving energy in an appropriate fashion with a facilitator, a teacher, a healer, what that can do is it can be done in a healthy way where you're not harming yourself or someone else. I used to fight a lot. I used to yell at my lovers and curse and just go off the wall and be very inappropriate and immature because I didn't know how to in a healthy way, release and move energy. So I think it's funny because my life path has led me to be a great facilitator of these things because it's something that I've struggled with in my own life, being a very high energy, very intense person and struggling in my own world with how to do things in a healthy, non-harmful way. So my first sound bath was in 2018. It was in Mexico, and it was really a big struggle and challenge for me to lie down for 45 minutes when I really just wanted to run out of that room and hit someone. It was horrible. But again, like if you squeeze an orange, you don't get lemon juice from an orange. You get orange juice when you squeeze an orange because whatever is inside of us is what comes out when we are under pressure. And we're going through, June was an intense month. We're about to start going through July, which is another really intense start to this month soon. And if things come up, remember, you are not the anger. The anger is a part of an emotion that you've never got to release. So just remember, if something happens and you overreact, that's not who you are. It's an expression of emotion that needs to be released. You are a great human, a great soul, but sometimes we have stuff that's been stuffed down into this box, and if not released in the appropriate way, we can hold ourselves and not forgive ourselves for things that we're expressing in maybe the wrong place or wrong time. I've had to learn self-forgiveness. I've had to learn to do things in a healthier way, and I will die teaching this and helping other people because the shame and the guilt that I would carry around after I would do stuff inappropriately was more harmful than the actual event or the actual thing that happened. Well, I've chatted for a while, and I hope that this has helped you feel a bit more normal. And if you ever go to a healing event, just know sometimes healing is ugly and it's painful and it's annoying and it's frustrating, but we're moving energy, and sometimes what happens in healing sessions can be very uncomfortable. So you're not alone if you've experienced something like that. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to sharing more healing energy information with you so you don't feel alone in this massive healing process that you're going through in your life. I will talk to you soon.